Hi there, this is Lisa Raymond with Visibly Media and a member of EventBrite Business Connections. It's a business networking group from Ohio, founded in Ohio, but now here in Arizona. What I'd like to do is show you how to use EventBrite to set up a recurring networking meeting to help your chapters get going on networking. So we're going to get started here. I've already logged in here to my EventBrite. If you've not made an account for yourself, it'll ask you a few simple questions and especially an email that you can verify the account with. And once you do that, you're up and running. This is free to use. I have not had to pay for it, and I've been using it now for about 2 years for our chapters here in Arizona. What I'm going to do now is create the events. So once you get signed in, you verify the account, you may be asked to pick some events based on what you like to do. You don't have to, but you may have to choose maybe 2 or 3 to get started. Some programs do. And I honestly don't remember if I had to or not, so I apologize. Once I get into what I call my dashboard, then I can go ahead and click the orange button here to create an event. If you don't see that for any reason, once you create it, you can either switch to attending or go to your account settings to modify that. So I'm going to create an event. And I've already got some of this information copied and pasted because I'm trying to keep our information as consistent as possible so people recognize it's still part of the same brand. With this, I'm going to put in here the event information. Normally, I would say that this is a business networking meeting that's meeting on this day and time. But in this case, because this is a chapter that's trying to get interest to form and charter, I'm going to change the wording and say that this is a new networking chapter forming EventBrite Business Connections Scottsdale. So that way people know it's new networking, what's the name of the brand, and where it's going to be, which is in Scottsdale. I cannot add at the moment my other area director friend who will be managing this. So I'm going to leave my contact information as the organizer at the moment. I'll add his in later. I'll show you where to do that. This will ask you to pick the type of meeting, a category, and then another category beyond that to help your meeting get going. So I'm going to create this as a meeting or networking event. The category I'm going to come to is business and professional. So you see, you have a bunch to choose from. Then opens a subcategory. And with the subcategory, what we did is we targeted startups and small business. You can set this up any way you like that will make sense for your chapter or your networking group. This is what we chose to do, at least with my chapters in the West Valley out here. Now, tags, you can have up to 10 tags and it'll help keep track for you. You have a character count per tag of 25 characters per tag, so you got to be careful. This is not separated by a comma or what they call comma delimited. That means you can't just enter a bunch, put a comma in and separate them that way. This is not like YouTube. You have to enter them in one at a time. So I put those on a separate paper or a notepad that you may or may not be able to see. And I can copy and paste them, or I can start typing and see what comes up as selections. Business networking, I know, is one that we wanted. And in Arizona, at least, there's 5,334 events responding to that, which is nice. I can also do this. So it's going to take just a couple minutes here. Business professional is another one that we wanted. Business referral meeting. Don't think that's part of that here. So if you don't see it, you can start typing. It does not recognize dashes. It recognizes the underline or underscore key. That's also something I had to learn the hard way. So my hope is to help you avoid some of the things I had to work with. Business networking is one word. Yep, 1,146 events. So what I'm trying to do is pick things that, or tags that will be broad for a large audience and then narrow for what we're looking for as well. So that way you have a good mix. Scottsdale easy. Yep. I go to that one there. There's 12 events, Scottsdale, Arizona. Right, Scottsdale easy. Yep. Networking event, because that's what this is. And there it is there. I'm going to do an underscore of Scottsdale, Arizona. 4 events, but that's not too bad. referrals, because that's what we're all about, to help each other grow each other's business. And then the last one being sales and marketing. 80 events there. Once you get to 10, it won't let you add anymore. Now, the venue or location is also important. If you think your location may already be entered in here, and it could be, go ahead and start typing that in, which ours is AZ Cowork. Am I going to get lucky? Yes, they're on Northside Boulevard. If you do not see yours, you'll be asked to enter it in. Once you've got it, it'll pop up with a map, the address, everything is there. You can do reserved seating. That would be more for your location. If you can only have, like, say, 3 guests or 5 guests, because your seating is limited to start with, and you may already have a larger group or trying to figure out how big a group to get. I don't reserve the seating because I know where we're meeting at AZ Cowork has the capacity, if we had to move to a bigger room. So I'm okay with not reserving the seating at this time. The next part is the day and the time. Now, what I've done with my networking groups in the West Valley in Arizona, which is Glendale, Peoria, and those areas, I've set them to recurring because they were already connected, they were already chartered, they were already meeting on a weekly basis. So I set it to be a recurring event. In this case, I'm not going to, because they're forming. They want to see how much interest they can get. They're going to meet every other week at the moment until they have enough interest and enough members to charter. So I'm going to keep it on single event. It's going to start actually on May 2nd, which is a Tuesday. And then we'll also end on the Tuesday. I'm going to start it at 11:45 in the morning. That's a little unusual, but I'll explain that as I go. So you can type a number in there if you don't see your number. And then from here, be careful because it may bounce you back up to the AM part. So I make sure you do the PM part, because if you don't, you get a red alert that says, hey, you can't do that because you have to end it after it starts. That's true. The reason I'm typing that in is we do in our chapters 15 minutes of open networking. So I want people to have an expectation that they can come in 15 minutes early, sit down, say hi, and introduce themselves. And then we start the meeting right at noon and at 1. So pretty simple, but sometimes can get a little confusing. Excuse me, I apologize. This will display both the start and the end time of the meeting. Be careful with your time zone, please. There are a plethora of them to choose from. And in Arizona, most of us are in Phoenix time. Make sure that you honor what time zone you're setting this up in, or you could set yourself up for no one showing up to your meeting. And then the English, or language for your page as well. In this case, ours is English. I'm going to save and continue. The next page will help us set up the visual and the rest of the description then for the meeting. Now, the visual, if you have already ready to go, you can either drag and drop or upload it from your computer, or you can design it in Canva and link it. I already have it from Canva on my computer, so I'm just going to drag and drop it over. If it's too big, it'll ask you if you want to crop it. This came actually from a different page. It's the same width, just not the same height. So I'm comfortable with the way that looks. It says new chapter forming, join us Tuesday. Probably should have put a comma there. I'm not going to worry about it. 11:45 to 1. AZ Cowork 13835 Northside Boulevard. Yeah, that's Roll Street. Unit 100, Scottsdale 85260. Now, if I didn't like it, I could always go out and make the change, add the comma, but I'm not going to worry about it. And then just drag and drop it again. Once you do that, it'll put it in. Now, the size it actually does request is a 2160 pixel wide by 1080 tall, in case you need to know that for your Canva or for the software that you're using. Now I'm going to go ahead and get to the summary, which I already have open from another page. I'm just going to copy and paste it to make it simple, because it's for the most part the same information. Again, we want to try and make sure that the information stays consistent so people then recognize the brand in Arizona. So join M Spirit, join our new. Join a new chapter as a charter. And then again, you have a character count here, so be careful with that. Join new chapter. New Scottsdale. See how much I can get away with. Join new Scottsdale chapter as a charter member. Okay. So now I'm going to go back over here. And I'm going to copy all the information from the other chapter that I've made. One of the things you'll see that I think makes a lot of sense is what they call a hot link or an active link, I call them. What that means is someone can tap it if they're on their mobile or click on it if they're on their desktop and actually go to the page that's on there. So what I recommend is that you set it to a page from your chapter's website that makes someone take action, whether it's filling out a form, which is better, calling or something. Don't just have them sit there and go to the homepage because it's probably not as exciting as trying to get more information about this group. If you don't have a page that talks about what you're doing with this new chapter, then go ahead and get one made, and that way it can point to it. This should point to the homepage. I'm going to check it real quick. Whoops, no, I just did. Yeah, well, that was silly. Just put it in again. Anyway, now and I just disallowed that. So let's see, I'm going to go take care of this here. I really want them to contact Scottsdale area director, or actually East Valley area director. Patrick Carter at tryharder@gmail.com. He likes plays on boards. Now, I'm not going to have them visit my other chapter. And join. Yeah. Sure. What the world? Da, 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 da. Not sure what's going on here. CDM spirit difference. Questions. Please email the East Valley area director Patrick Carter at tryhard@gmail.com. Great. So I could add more information if I want to. I could put a video in. We don't have one. I could add another image. I don't think that's necessary because the top image should rule that. And then you could add more text. I wouldn't know what to add more as far as that goes there. I'm going to try and get this link because now it's going to bug me. So I'm going to open a new, actually, I'm just going to go. No, I don't want to blow that up. Go here and get a link. Let's see. Log contact us. I think I'm going to take them to our region page for Phoenix Rising, and that way they can see that it's more than just a couple of chapters. Although that doesn't help much because there's our franchise owner, but we don't, well, we can see the other people there. Okay. Back to the national website, except I don't like the front page. Now you know why I say make sure you do something for a different homepage other than just the homepage. Okay, so I'm going to take them here for the opportunities. That makes sense. We have testimonials there. That makes sense. So I'm going to make this the hot link or active link that we talked about. Click that button here and then paste in your link and hit save. And that makes it into a hot link. Okay, from here, add the other things to your event. If it makes sense to add an agenda, great. If not, don't worry about it. If it makes sense to add FAQs, otherwise don't worry about it. Then hit save and continue. So after this is set up and ready to go, then you should have maybe a few more details to put in for tickets, such as for an example. Now, what I'm going to do is copy tickets from another group that I'm working with. And that way I don't have to worry about that. If you want to go through and set up your tickets, I'm going to move this for just a minute. The general admission we put for our networking group is free. We know that there's an annual and a quarterly due. I'm not worried about that. I want them to come in the door and then we'll walk them through that process if they want to join. there any holds or promo codes or add-ons? Not necessary. And I think ours has 10 tickets that it imports in for per chapter. So yep, you're 10. So that's okay. Now we should be about good to go here. It's going to start scheduled on the 26th, 3:45. See if I can edit that because I'd like to actually start it today, if at all possible. So they're free, sales start. Yep. So I can change that date to today. I just have to make it at a different time than what most people would see. So what I might do instead, actually start it tomorrow morning and start it about 6 in the morning. My reasoning for that, most people will be getting up and around, checking email between 5 and 6 here in Arizona. So I want to make sure I check that and get that taken care of. The end time will be 11:30, 11:45. I'm actually going to end it. Yeah, I guess we could leave it at 11:45. You could make it different as far as the ending time. I could go as soon as 11:30, honestly, and that would be fine too. So once you have this set up, what the available quantity will be and whatnot, you have a character count on what you're calling this, whether it's channel admission or whatnot, save that. You can add more ticket types. Most networking groups don't have a budget to add more things because it's an upgrade, it's an add-on. And I don't recommend that anyway until you test it a little bit, be consistent with it and see if that makes sense for you to make a budget for it at that point, especially if you're just starting out with the networking. So once you have that here, go ahead and click on the next button. This is a lot easier to do on a desktop, not a mobile, please. And then you'll get a preview of it before you publish it. Now, before I publish this, for it to go, I want to check. It's a new networking chapter, where it's going to be, how many tickets, and the dollar amount, which in our case is free. We don't want to charge for someone to come in just to check out our group. It will be a public event shared on EventBrite and search engines. That's some of the reason why I'm coding some of the things I'm doing. I wanted to catch the name Am Spirit Business Connections because that's the name of the networking group. I want to catch Scottsdale because that's where they're meeting and the day and the time. That's all read by the search engines. Same thing goes with your graphic, and that will be a discussion on my business side for another time, but just quickly make sure that you name your graphic for what it is. So if it's an Am Spirit Business Connections networking group, name it for that. Make sure the date that it's going to happen, in our case, May 2nd, is also included maybe at the end as digits of 0505 or 050223. That gets all read by the search engines too, creates a connection and an authority back to each other, which is why I do that. But again, I'll go into more detail at another time with that. So I want that on public. I want to publish it now or schedule for later. I'm going to schedule it for 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to share this information with my friend, Mr. Harder. I'm not going to allow him to change anything for this one. This is just to see, okay, hey, what do we do with this as we move down the road? This will allow us to preview it, to take a look at it, see how it's going to look. And then I'll show you this as well, how this will look. So in a desktop, and we can see it on a mobile as well, I can scroll. I know exactly what's going on. Tickets will go on sale at 6 o'clock today, or tomorrow morning, rather. By who? They can follow me, yes. Because I tend to put several of these on, they could. You can see this on a map and pull down the map. There's the day and the time there. They know exactly what they're going to get into and what we're going to be doing, the tags that it'll hit. Now, the nice part is once it's published, I can share this out to Facebook, to Messenger if I chose to. I'm not going to because to me that's spam. To LinkedIn, to the professional audience, to Twitter, I could send it as an email. That allows me to send more information about all this. So information about me, this all looks good. And I can look at also what it will look like on a mobile. Now, mobiles can get a little squirrely because they get long, but now you see then why they want some of the sizing the way they do for the graphic, especially. Here's the date. You can heart it to make it a favorite event. Want more leads or qualified business referrals, not leads. Who it is, the date and the time. About this, it's a little long, so I try to keep it short. It looks shorter on the desktop. Here it's rather long. And then someone should be able to copy that or click and hold, tap and hold and copy it on their mobile. The tags that it hits, which some of this it didn't They may have added in more things for this because I didn't do things to do in Scottsdale or Scottsdale networking. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. I didn't add those, so it may have added it in for me as the program. So keep an eye on that, measure that, and see if that's been helpful for your business. If it's not, then try and find a way to take them off, especially on the mobile end, because we didn't see it on the desktop end, but it came in on the mobile. You can share it with your friends. They can follow the organizer. Everything looks good to go. So if that's okay, then you can close the preview. I'm going to stop the share. This is ready to go. It'll publish tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you're able to use this new tool then for your networking. It's not really a new tool. Most people have come to know it as something that they've used for a one-time event. I'm using it for a recurring networking event, so the business community can see that and realize that this is not a one-off. This is something that's going to go forward. In this case, this meeting is a one-off, but I will schedule the next one as soon as they decide at this meeting what they're doing. And that way they'll see the consistency as it builds in the search engines. If you have any questions, give me a call. You have my phone number there on the screen. It's at 602-423-2106, or you can send me an email at lisa@visiblymedia.com. I look forward to chatting with you again and showing you more about what you can do to help your business grow. Thanks for watching.